Hi guys, I hope you're all doing good. And this is VK, and I provide training on performance testing for the people who like to start their career with the performance testing, or the people who like to transform the technology to the performance testing from the manual testing. Okay, and I have very decent experience in performance testing, and I will use my experience to teach the classes with realistic examples. And today I would like to discuss about the performance testing and what is the performance testing and why do we need it and what will happen if we don't conduct the performance testing and do we really need performance testing for our application. So all these things we will discuss in today's class. And before I discuss about the performance testing, I would like to discuss about the testing. Okay, what is testing and what type of testings we'll have, and what is performance testing in that. Okay, let me share my screen and see here. So testing, and testing is a process of evaluating any object, whether that particular object is working as we expected or not. Okay, each and every object will be designed in its specific purpose, and we have to test that particular object before we release that object into the market, or a product or object, whatever it. If you take an example of mobile, and mobile is being designed in a specific purpose, by using our mobile we can make the calls, we can receive the calls, and we can take the pictures, we can take the videos, and we can install so many apps, and we can play the games, and also we browse whatever you want in the internet. So you can perform all these things in your mobile. If we have to say that yes, our mobile product is working fine without having any issues, then whatever the options we have in that mobile, each and every option, each and every functionality has to be worked properly. Then only we can say yes, this mobile product is good. Like the way we are developing so many applications in the software, so each and every application has to be worked properly, whatever the functionalities is been designed in their purpose, and each and every functionality has to be worked properly. So we are going to perform a testing to make sure that each and every functionality is working properly as designed. So that is nothing but testing. Okay, so in this testing we have two types of testing. One is functional testing and another one is non-functional testing. Okay, one is functional and another type of testing is non-functional. So if we talk about the functional testing, so functional testing in the sense we are going to mainly concentrate on the functionality of that application. Okay. So here functional testing, the name itself saying functional testing means we are mainly concentrating on the functionality of that particular feature. Okay. And in this functional testing, like a functional tester has to test each and every business functionality which is being developed by the developer in that application. Okay, so if you take an example of Amazon, so in the Amazon you'll be having so many options and so many features are created in that application. But when it comes to an end user may not be using all the functionalities. But as part of functional testing, we have to test each and every functionality, because it doesn't matter whether that end user is going to use that functionality frequently or not. But whatever the functionality is being developed in that application, that functionality should be working properly without having any issues. So by conducting this functional testing, and we are going to make sure that all the functionalities, all the features which is being developed in the application are working as we expected. So that's what we are going to achieve by conducting the functional testing. Okay, so in this functional tester is going to test each and every functionality in that application. Okay, and we can confirm that application is working fine and all the functionalities working as we expected by navigating all these applications by opening your browser manually. So we can conduct the functional testing even with a single user in this process. So you are the user, and you're like, let's suppose you have to make sure that application is working fine. So you can open the browser, you can launch the application, you can log into the application, you can perform all the business scenarios, and you can note it down whether that particular functionality is working fine or not. So based on it, you can make sure that yes, all these features have been working or not. Okay. And then non-functional testing. And non-functional testing is nothing but a performance testing, we also call it as. And non-functional testing like will be conducted only on the critical business scenarios. When it comes to functional testing, we have to test each and every business functionality. But when it comes to non-functional testing, we don't have to bother about all the functionalities in that application. So we mainly like conduct the non-functional testing on critical business scenarios and critical business functionalities in that application. So I will tell you about the critical business scenarios later, but for now, you can remember that functional testing will be conducted on each and every functionality, but non-functional testing will be conducting on only the critical business functionalities. And we can complete the functional testing even with a single user by navigating all the business scenarios manually from the browser, wherein functional testing has to be conducted under peak user load. Okay, non-functional testing needs to be conducted under peak user load. Peak user load in the sense multiple concurrent number of users, and we cannot test with a single user in terms of non-functional testing. And we have to apply the load, and we have to conduct a load test by generating more user load on the application, and we have to verify whether the application is working fine or not. Okay, and non-functional testing will always be conducted before going to the production. So after the application is designed and after all the phases have been completed and after the functional testing is been completed, after they have made sure that like, functional testers have made sure that this particular functionality is working fine, then our non-functional testing will be starting. And after we conduct the non-functional testing, after we provide the results, then only our application is going to the live or production. So non-functional testing will always be conducting before going to the live. Once the non-functional testing has been completed, then after we provide the results, then only our application is going to be deployed into the production. Okay. So this is what about the testing and types of testing and what is the functional and non-functional. So we'll be going to train on non-functional testing, and we also call it as performance testing as well. So I will tell in a way what is it and why do we need it, and what is the process to use it, and all these things I'll be covering in our classes. Every topic, take any topic, and for each and every topic we have to take, okay, what is this topic and why do we need it, and what will happen if we don't perform this particular thing, and after that what is the process for it. First you have to know what is it, and then you have to know why do we need it, and you also have to know what will happen if I don't perform this particular thing. And after you came to know what is going to be happen if you don't conduct that, then you have to know the process, what is the process for it. Okay, so likewise I'm going to explain you what is performance testing. Okay, what is performance testing? So as I said, performance testing and non-functional testing both are same. And performance testing is a process of evaluating a system's or application behavior under the peak user load. Okay, let me show you that. See here. Okay, so what is performance testing? What is performance testing? Performance testing is a testing to determine the system's performance in terms of speed, reliability, and stability under varying user load or workload. Okay. మనం ఇక్కడ ఏం చెప్తున్నాము what we are saying here, and performance testing is a process or a testing to determine the system's performance in terms of speed, reliability, stability, and scalability of under the varying user load, under the peak user load and different user load. So we are going to test our application by applying some X amount of users load concurrently, and we are going to verify how our application is being faster and how our application is being responded, and like whether we are able to like access the application all the times or not, stability and how stable our application is. And we should not see any intermittent issues when you're conducting performance testing on the application. So if you see any intermittent issues, what does it mean is that application is not stable. So application has to be performed very well for the 100% of times. Okay, when you access one particular like a business functionality, and that functionality should be working 100% all the times. So then we can say that particular application is stable. So here, especially like how we discussed, like performance testing is a testing to determine the system's performance in terms of speed, reliability, stability under varying user load, under multiple concurrent users load. Okay, and here we are going to apply the load and we are going to verify the application's behavior, like how faster this application is and how stable this application is and whether we can rely this application all the times or not. So we will be determining all these things by conducting this performance testing. Okay, and why do we need this performance testing? Why do we need this performance testing? Yes, we need the performance testing for every application to identify the maximum operating capacity of any application as well as any bottlenecks and determine which element is causing performance degradation. And why do we need performance testing? Okay, we need the performance testing for each and every application because we have to identify the maximum operating capacity of that particular application with that current infrastructure. Okay, we'll be having some specific infrastructure with us for that application, and we are supposed to evaluate or we are supposed to find out the maximum operating capacity of the infrastructure. When 1000 users load are accessing our application, whether this current infrastructure is able to sustain or not. When 100 users are accessing the application, whether this infrastructure is able to sustain or not. Okay, you have to identify what is the maximum capacity of that application, and when some specific amount of users are accessing that application, if that application is not able to like perform well, then we will come to know what exactly the issue is. By conducting this performance testing, we will come to know all level of issues when that application is able to not able to perform well. So you may have the issues with infrastructure, you may have the issues with code, you may have the issues with network level, and you may have issues with any component. So by conducting this performance testing, you will come to know all level of issues where exactly the problem is occurring and why are we unable to sustain with the maximum operating capacity. So all these things we will come to know by conducting this performance testing. So to know all level of issues, to know our application's maximum operating capacity, to know our like infrastructure sustainability, we have to conduct our performance testing. And based on that, we can release our application into the market. Understand? Okay, why do we need the performance testing? We need the performance testing for every application to identify the maximum operating capacity and to determine like do we have any like a bottlenecks which are causing the problem for that application, and all these things and all level of issues will come to know like why, because you have to conduct that performance testing. And what will happen if you don't conduct the performance testing? And we have discussed about what is performance testing, and we have discussed why do we need it, and what will happen if we don't conduct the performance testing. Okay, and what will happen if you don't conduct performance testing? If we don't conduct performance testing for that application, we will not be knowing that what is the system's capacity, what is the speed of our application, what is the maximum operating capacity of our application. We'll not be knowing all these details. If we conduct the performance testing, then only we will come to know all these details. If you don't conduct the performance testing, you will not be knowing till what user load your application can sustain, and how faster your application can be responded, and how reliable your application is. You will not know all these things if you don't conduct the performance testing. Okay, so if I don't know all these things, what will happen? Okay, if I don't know all these things, I don't know how my application will be faster, I don't know till what maximum capacity our infrastructure can sustain, I don't know all these details, then what will happen? So I don't want to conduct my performance testing. I don't want to know all these details. I just developed my application. I have completed functional testing and everything. My application is working fine without having any issues. And I will go and deploy my application without having any performance testing. So what will happen? See here, if we don't conduct the performance testing for any application, there may be a chance of losing your business to your competitor. Okay, if you don't conduct performance testing for any application, there will be a chance of losing your business to your competitor. How? What is the relation between the losing your business when you don't conduct the performance testing? Okay, so now we will see example. Okay, and I'm saying if you don't conduct the performance testing, definitely there will be a chance of losing your business to your competitor. But our customer is saying how it will happen. Can you please give me the example? So what is the relationship between losing your business and conducting the performance testing? So please tell me with an example. So now take an example and you're supposed to explain it to your customer. Okay. Let us assume we have two applications in the market, and you all know about the Amazon and Flipkart. And these are the leading e-commerce applications in the market nowadays. And everybody knows about the Amazon and Flipkart. Everybody will be using these both applications. Okay. So let us assume we have two applications, as you know, an Amazon and Flipkart. And Amazon has conducted performance testing, and they have cleared all their issues, and they have acknowledged that their application is able to sustain with some specific amount of users. Okay, Amazon application conducted the performance testing. By conducting the performance testing, they came to know all the issues at the application level, and they have cleared all the issues, and they could able to get the successful results, and they have acknowledged that their application is able to sustain with some X amount of users, and then they have released their application into the market. Okay, so when it comes to Flipkart, and Flipkart did not conduct the performance testing, and they don't want to waste their money on the performance testing. So that is the reason they did not conduct the performance testing. They have released their application without conducting the performance testing itself. Okay, so initially when these two applications are into the market and users started using these two applications, and applications are being performed very well, and when 100 users are accessing this Amazon and the Flipkart, and both the applications are performing well, that time Flipkart like a owner did not see any difference between this Amazon and Flipkart. Both are being performed well, so he did not bother about that. And as both the applications are doing a very well business, and customers are increasing, and customers are being added to their portal, and like a user load is getting high. So whenever 100 users are accessing both applications are being performed well. And when it comes to 200 users, and that time also both applications performance is well. So like the way the reason how they're giving the business and the applications type and everything. Okay, customers like their business, and both the applications are getting the business. And when it reaches to 500 users on Amazon and Flipkart, okay, so Amazon is performing well, but Flipkart like giving a small, very less performance degradation compared to previous. Okay, so there is a slight deviation in responding that application, but it is not impacting on the business. Okay, but Amazon is behaving very well, and there is no difference in the behavior of the Amazon even with the 500 users. So business is going day by day, and user count reach to 700, 800, 900 like that. So when it reaches to 1,000 users, and we have seen so many failures in the Flipkart. So from the moment the count is being reached to 500, we started seeing slight deviation in the performance. And later, whenever users are getting added to the portal, and we have seen performance degradation is getting increased, and Flipkart started behaving slow like that. Okay, so whenever 1,000 users are reached to the both the applications, and Amazon is performing very well because they already connect the performance testing. They have come to know all the issues at the system level, and they have cleared all the issues, and they have acknowledged that their application is able to sustain with minimum amount of users, some X amount of users. But Flipkart did not connect the performance testing. They did not know about the issues which will happen at the system level. Now they are getting the issues at the system level. That is the reason they are seeing the performance degradation for their application. And when like 1,000 users are accessing the application, when we go for the ordering something in the Flipkart, it is taking very longer time. Okay, earlier it was taking roughly 2 to 3 minutes to place an order. Okay, within 5 minutes max. Within 5 minutes max, you could able to place the order in the Flipkart and Amazon as well. But whenever 1,000 users load on the Flipkart, Flipkart is unable to sustain. And even when you're accessing that application, it is taking longer time to load that page. And to place an order, it is taking almost 20 to 25 minutes and even more than that sometimes. And also, that application is not reliable. Reliable in the sense, even you open that application, you'll be performing all the actions with like a more patience, but finally you'll not be able to submit the order. And when it goes to submit order, that page is again redirecting to launch or login, or you might be getting fine artist service unavailable or some issues. And finally you will not be able to place the order. So even you spend 20 to 25 minutes and you're not sure that you'll be able to place the order confirmed. So this kind of behavior we have for that Flipkart, and Flipkart users are getting irritated to access that application because when that application is performing well, then they were pretty happy and they were placing the orders when they want, and they did not see any like issues in that application. But nowadays, every time when they want to go for the go for placing the orders, and they are seeing a lot of difficulty in that application, and they have to spend more time to place an order. Even they spend more time on that order, they are not sure whether they can able to order or not. So the users which are using Flipkart got frustrated. They are disappointed about that application performance. And when you disappoint about some applications performance or some customer, definitely you'll be seeing alternative, or you'll be seeing similar kind of application in the market. Okay, so the users which are using the Flipkart have started seeing the alternative for the Flipkart in the market, and similar kind of Flipkart application. So when they searched for the similar kind of Flipkart application, they have found Amazon in the market. Okay, few people will be searching for alternative application in the market, and few people will be reaching out to their friends. Hey, I'm using Flipkart application, and earlier I used to place order within like a 3 to 5 minutes, and I was pretty much happy with the application performance earlier, and application was good and everything was really nice. But nowadays everything was changed, and I'm unable to place the order. Even I spent like a 20 to 30 minutes, and application performance is not at all well. And do we have any other application to place an order or to book something? So when you have a discussion with your friend, and your friend might be using the Amazon, so your friend may suggest Amazon. Hey, I'm using the Amazon application, So you may try with this application. Like, I'm finding like a very good response with the Amazon, and all the times this application performs very well. And I also have like a good offers in that, and I don't see these kind of issues with the Amazon. So then you, as per your friend suggestion and as per the results from the internet, and people will be starting using the Amazon. Okay, the users which are using the Flipkart and Flipkart customers, basically they got disappointed with the application's performance, and they looked for the alternate with multiple sources. When they found Amazon as an alternate, they started using the Amazon. So they have spent longer time to place an order in the Flipkart, and at the same time they could able to place the order within 2 to 3 minutes in the Amazon. So they felt very happy. Their time did not waste, and they did not get frustration, and they did not get disappointment, and all these things did not happen. So they could able to place the order successfully. So they are like that application, and immediately they have started using that Amazon application from that day onwards, because people like Flipkart customers like have been there with the patients, and they try to place the orders multiple number of times. So every time that application behavior is not at all well, that's why they have looked for the alternative. So Amazon is a competitor of Flipkart, and Flipkart is a competitor of Amazon. So when your competitor's application is working fine without having any issues, when people are able to place the order successfully without having any issues, and obviously your customers also will be moving to your competitor. If your performance is not well, then obviously your customers will be moving to your competitor's application. Okay, this is what the main difference you can see if you don't conduct the performance testing. If you would have conduct the performance testing, then definitely you would have known all the issues at the system level, and you would have got exact roots of all the issues. Issues can be anything, be it a code, be it a infrastructure, be it a network level, and anything it can be. All the issues might have been identified, and they might have cleared before you come into the production. So it is always recommended to have a performance testing for any application to know all level of issues at the system. Whenever some x amount of users are running on the application, then you can clear all the issues. Later you can able to deploy your application to the production. If you don't if you don't perform the performance testing, you'll not be knowing all these issues. You may be in the trouble when end users are accessing your application. So that is why performance testing is required for each and every application. And if you don't conduct the performance testing, definitely there may be a chance of losing your business to your customer. Understand? So we came to know like what is testing, and what type of testing we have, and what is functional testing, and what is non-functional testing, and why do we need it, and what will happen if we don't conduct performance testing. Okay, and we should come to know what is the process and what are the tools available in the market too. Okay, and we have a certain process to conduct the performance testing, and we also have multiple tools in the market to conduct the performance testing. And I will list out few tools like a load runner, JMeter. Okay, few tools. See here. So these are the available tools in the market to conduct the performance testing: and load runner, JMeter, Neoload, VSTS, BlazeMeter, RPT, Silk Performer. And we also have WebLoad and other tools, but most popular tools are load runner, JMeter, and Neoload. And load runner is a industry standard tool which is very efficient when compared to all other tools in terms of giving the debugging information and all other. Okay, and JMeter is an open source tool, and we can consider this as a most popular tool like a now in the market. Okay, and most of the organizations are using JMeter nowadays, and because it's a open source, you don't have to put the cost on the tool. Okay, and we also have NeoLoad, VSTS, BlazeMeter, and all other tools, and less amount of organizations are using remaining tools, and most of the organizations are using Load Runner and JMeter. And hope you like the class, and I will come with like a different tools and what is the process on the performance testing and everything in our later classes. And thank you for watching. Bye then.